Hi everybody. Today we're going to be doing another review of a resource that you can find to learn German online for free. Today we're going to be talking about Livemocha.com. The first time that I started playing around with this website, I was a little unimpressed, but the more I got into it, the more I actually liked it, and I think I'll just show you a little bit about what this website does. First of all, when you first log into Mocha, it comes up and ask you to choose a language and choose your native language, and so I chose German for the language I wanted to learn and English for the language that I already speak. So it puts everything in English so that I can actually read it, and then it also has German lessons that I can learn online. Some of the basic things on here, like the alphabet and stuff like that, I kind of think are a little useless. They are a little simplistic even for the alphabet, and that's saying something. They have just kind of random vocabulary that isn't really necessarily pertinent to the basic learner, but it is helpful for at least learning some pronunciation and that kind of thing. But once you get into some of the more difficult topics, then you have some kind of interesting things that you can learn, and it's not just the basics like you get on a lot of websites. It actually does go into great detail for a long list of different things. So for example, whenever you first get into one, they have a list of flashcards that they show you a couple of times, and so that you can kind of figure out what it is that you can learn on each one. Then once you learn the flashcards, you'll also notice on the flashcards that there's a list of like any grammar help that they might need. They also show you like how to use whatever it is that you're learning about, and then they show you how those words interact with other things. You can always see the translations of each one, and the instructions for each thing are in German so that you can see how German is used in a kind of a more natural environment, but then you can also translate the instructions so you can obviously understand it, especially if you're one of those basic learners. Once you actually learn the words and the phrases based on the flashcards, then they ask you to start using it in your own words. So a couple of different options that I really like is they want you to practice reading and writing. So you'll read a sentence and then you'll finish the sentence based on the flashcards that you had before. So the example that I used earlier was that I did a comparative and superlative explanation thing, and I had to write in either the comparative, superlative, or positive form of an adverb, and they gave me two sentences and I had to write in the third one. It was kind of an interesting way of looking at it. And then when you get done, you can actually send this off to somebody to take a look at and see if they can kind of give you some pointers and tips and whatnot. And that's a nice little feature on there. Then once you get done with that, you have the audio version where you have to read things out loud, and this I think is one of the most fantastic things on this entire website, is that you can read things out loud and then it'll come back and give you some kind of feedback based on what it is that you just said. It'll send it off to some native speaker, or in some cases a really good learner, I guess. I haven't actually gotten my feedback back yet, but I have sent several things off, and we'll see how that feedback goes once I get that back. Then they have one where you listen to something and you write out what it is that you hear, which is a great way to kind of figure out how well you understand whenever somebody is speaking. And again, you'll send this off to a native speaker or another one of the language learners on Livemocha, and they will tell you how well you did based on their own knowledge. Then there is this last option here, which is listening to things and then you say it out loud. Sometimes this is a listen and repeat kind of thing. Sometimes this is a listen and you finish a sentence or something like that. But it is a listening comprehension followed by a pronunciation guide, and that I think is just phenomenal. It's something I don't see on a lot of websites, is an option to speak the language and actually try and communicate that way and see how well you're doing. So I really like that option. Everything that's in here is based off of either coffee bean looking things or coins. These coins, I don't know how I did it, but I started out with like 50,000 of them for no apparent reason, and I kind of played around with the website for about a half an hour, and during that time I got down to about 40,000, but you gain points for every lesson that you finish, and you lose points whenever you buy a new lesson, so each lesson is about 7,000 little coin deals, And you can purchase them if you really want to, but I don't think it's actually necessary for most people. I think you're going to be able to go through this stuff without actually having to purchase anything at all. And that I think is a great option because, well, I like free things, and this is a great website for being free. Overall, they do have quite a large library of different topics on here. We have the starter pack here, which is the only course that they actually offer. And by course, I mean that it's the only one that is actually an entire course. Like, it would actually tell you, you know, what comes next and when you need to learn each of the different lessons. There's a total of 25 lessons inside of the course, and you can see all of these different 25 things are all L1, which is level 1, and you can choose what level you think you are so that you can kind of gauge whether or not you understand this stuff. I personally don't see there's any point in actually telling it what level you're on, but at any rate, you can do that. And then they also have individual lessons that you can find, which is a huge library of stuff. And they always show you like which level. If you're just searching for a particular level, you can search by level. You can search for a topic if you want. I think the only downside to this part is that the names of the different topics that they have on here are all in German. So if I wanted to, you know, figure out what I want to learn about, I can't actually see what that is without Googling the thing first. So, I mean, that would be a little bit more handy if it had the translation in English for the name of the title of it, but I understand why they would want to keep it in German because you are trying to learn German. So, and especially at the upper levels, you would actually know what these words mean more than likely, and if you didn't, you would kind of get the hang of it once you got into the system. I do have one major gripe, and that is that the audio quality that they have for their listening comprehension varies so widely that there's no consistency whatsoever in it, and some of the videos are just awful quality. Like, there's one of the videos that I watched, it sounded like somebody was recording this in their garage, and I'm pretty sure I heard some kind of an animal in the background, and it was kind of just bad.
Hirschkuh ist größer, das Kitz ist kleiner. Rehe sind wilde Tiere. An diesem Tag ist es kälter. Zebras sind gestreifter als Pferde.
There's also another huge gripe that I have, and that is that, you know, I didn't know where to go on this website. I just logged in, and it's like, here you go, have a bunch of coins. And I was like, okay, what do I do with the coins, and what do I don't understand. So once I finally got the hang of the user interface, it was fine. I did get an email from Livemocha saying that they're going to be changing their user interface over the next year or so, and I have an option to kind of check that out. So, and if you were unaware, this apparently is supported by Rosetta Stone, but it is not nearly as extremely expensive as Rosetta Stone is. I usually knock on Rosetta Stone all the time because Rosetta Stone is like $500 for a program that you can find online for free, and it looks like they've actually listened to us a little bit about that, and now I have Livemocha run by Rosetta Stone. So while Rosetta Stone is a great program, it isn't, you know, in my price range or anyone that I know of's price range. So Livemocha is a nice little website that you can go to and kind of try things out and see how you like it. So I've had a little bit of time to work around on Livemocha's new version of their website. They're beta testing it right now. So once I got into it, you can clearly see that there's a huge difference in the color scheme, but other than that, a lot of the same stuff is still in there. You can still find your lessons off to the left-hand side. You now have the profile information and that kind of thing off to the left instead of having it on the right. But overall, the only major difference here is the color scheme as far as the home page is concerned. Once you get into it, though, you'll notice that the lessons are quite a bit different on their format. So now you have a little bit more color to the entire palette as opposed to just the browns that we had before. You'll also notice that it looks a little bit different as far as kind of the input here. I do have a few complaints still. First of all, the audio quality of their videos is still sounds like somebody made them in their garage.
Singapur, Südkorea, Nordkorea, Indien, Indonesien, Japan,
But anyway, so that's still a complaint. I also have a new complaint because this wasn't an issue before. I was typing out sentences here, and it comes up and asks me at one point for like one letter per blank. It asked me for an entire word in some blanks, and then in other blanks it only asks me for an end of a word, but it never specifies which one it wants. It also never tells you like how much of an answer you're supposed to have here. It's incredibly confusing, and there isn't enough information for me to complete the task. For instance, the first time that I actually tried to answer one of these, it gives me the word in, I-N, and then 3 blanks. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. It doesn't tell me if this is an entire phrase. It doesn't tell me if this is a word. It just says finish this thing, and it doesn't tell me squat. And so that's kind of a huge problem to me, is that if you're going to tell somebody to do some kind of a task, at least give them enough information to complete the task. Because as a foreign language teacher, I can tell you that if my instructions were bad, that's going to make it so that nobody actually understands how to do it, and then you're going to have a lot of frustrated students. So they don't tell you what level this is. They just randomly give you a bunch of different topics. I mean, if I put it as level 2 or level 1, yeah, it's going to tell me that it's level 1. It's only the level 1 things. But again, there are several great things that this website does. For instance, the audio thing where you can record yourself and get some feedback. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get feedback, but I'll post a comment on this video whenever I actually do get feedback to it, or I'll just add a little annotation to this video so that you know how long it took me to actually get some feedback. But at any rate, there's a lot of really cool things that this website does. If you haven't already tried this website out, go ahead and check it out, and tell me in the comments down below how it is that you did on this website, what you think is good about it, what you think is bad about it, whether or not you think it's better or as good as Duolingo, because I hear a lot of people talking about Duolingo. To me, this website offers a few things that Duolingo does not have, and for that reason, I would maybe put it a little ahead of Duolingo, but again, I haven't actually done my review of Duolingo yet, so I'll hold my reservations about whether or not this one is better than Duolingo until after I've done my actual review. But the writing and the speaking portions of this website do give it a little bit more of an edge than other websites that are out there. So if you get a chance, check this website out, and if you like it, don't like it, whatever, you can put that down in the comments down below, and I thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye now.